It's the first 90 days and you are beginning a new position. First 90 days. What do you do in that first 90 days of beginning a new position? My name is Angela M. Odom, and I'm going to share some things I shared with um, someone who actually started a new position or is starting one in the next month or so. And I think it's important that you start on the right foot, right? So, this is a live recording of the Better You Leadership podcast where I just share my experiences with women leaders so that you might have the opportunity to manifest the life that you actually deserve, right? So today we're talking about the first 90 days in a position in a new job. You might have the opportunity to be working in a different position in the same organization, or you might be the new hire and it's brand new to you. You know, you just don't understand the culture or you don't know the people. And of course, we know that the people, the relationships, is really what's going to uh, propel you to win, right? And so there is a book out. It's called The First 90 Days, and the author is Michael D. Watkins. So if you choose and go and get that book, but that's really not what I'm talking about today. I'm talking about my own experiences and what this might look like. And so I'm going to share some of those things that helped me along the way. And so I know we are, uh, after this pandemic, some people just need a refresher on how to go back to working with people in person. It might feel like a new position because you've been doing it, a different way. And I keep hearing about this, the fact that people are no longer accepting the current position or current work conditions. So you might be looking for a new position, looking for a new opportunity, starting your own thing. And so there's so many different situations of circumstances where you might just say, you know what, I want to do something different. And what does that look like as far as work, right? So the first 90 days are really critical. I had an individual to call me and says, "Hey, I want you to talk to this young lady. She's going to a new position." So I served in the Army for 27 years. And it's just so interesting to me that real military people are still reaching out since I've been retired for 7 years, but I enjoy the opportunity, to give back. So I'm going to share some of the things I talked to the young lady about, right? Some of the things I shared with her. The first thing is, without a doubt, this is about building credibility and understanding the culture at the same time. That's what that first 90 days. You make sure that you're not the loudmouth person that's talking badly or negatively about the person you're replacing, right? So learn how to shut your big old mouth and listen. That's what I shared with her. Listen more than you speak as you are beginning this opportunity, right? Because every single thing you do and say is being watched. Just as you are taking notes on, where the bathroom is, because you don't even know what a bathroom is first, right? Who actually makes decision, the way your boss takes in information. What are the critical events or activities that are taking place over the next 30, 60, 90 days? And then where do you fit? Where does your boss fit? Where's your team fit? And oh, by the way, just a quick assessment on, is your team prepared to, to give great performance, right? To actually achieve this thing. And so those are some of the things you have to make sure is that properly you understand the culture itself. Like I have my first, I'm wearing my favorite blouse. I like the way it feels. I like the way it fits. I just like the colors, pattern, all those things. But it's appropriate for the workspace that my new job. So you got to think about your clothes, and you might like it tight and right. You might like your skirts all the way so they can show your fabulous thighs off, but it might not be appropriate in the workspace, right? You might not know that on Fridays, as opposed to your corporate look, you on Fridays you do like the dress down day, right? That's the day for you to come in your casual wear. So you have to know what casual means for that workspace. And what time do you show up for work? What time do you leave? Is there expectation for you to come in a little early before the boss? When are the meetings? Lord have mercy. Sometimes people are in love with meetings just so we can have another meeting. It's not that the meeting is effective or ineffective. The point is, as a new hire, as someone who is showing up, then you want to be aware of the location. Are there any security issues to get into the meeting? Do you have to have a special card, a code? Is there someone you have to sign in with first? Is there, where do you sit when you come into the space? All these things, because again, you are setting yourself up to be credible, to be respected, to be heard, and you want to establish um, how often you will confer with your boss, with your peers. That first social outing, that's not a time for you to show everybody how many shots you can handle. Whether you like tequila or rum, that's not that time to do that. Unless you know that, like me, I know like one Corona, I'm good because I'm going to be mellow after that. You give me two or three, then I'm going to start singing and talking loud. So I don't need that to be the very first impression at my new job. And then, so that's not going to lead to success. Now, you know what I mean by that, right? You understand what I mean, making a great first impression. And then, whatever that first meeting where you, your boss, and your peers will attend, do you want to be prepared to contribute while at the same time, not coming off as a jerk or know it all or someone who is, you don't even know the culture, but you got a lot of opinions on everything that's wrong. You want to fix it right now. Well, shut up. Shut your big old mouth, right? Shut your big old mouth. We've all met people like that, right? And oh, by the way, consistently telling me about what you did at your old job and what the person before you actually did and how great they were. And so nobody wants to hear that and nobody cares. And so as you are focused on your first 90 days, I want to give you some specifics, right? So you're going to want to focus on uh, onboarding, right? So business orientation, stakeholder connections, stakeholders, right? Connections, and then you want to look at the alignment of expectations and also your cultural adaptations. And so when you go into a new environment, then there is a culture in that environment. They have norms and expectations and belief systems. As a whole organization, they have their whole culture, right? So you want to make sure you are aware of that and you're paying attention to it and you're soaking it up, and then you can decide whether you will assimilate or you're going to push against it once you understand what it is, once you identify what that is. So make sure, as far as a business orientation, just make sure you understand, process and procedures, policies. You want to know, you want to actually look at, read the written policies for your organization, because that is how they're going to fire you if you don't do that right, right? And of course, respect of individuals and their autonomy is always, number one. And so if you have whatever your biases are, and we all have biases, then make sure you understand before you even accept a position that, this is the way this organization handles um, these situations, right? So just make sure you get that. You want to make sure you also understand how your boss, how your peers, the people who will impact you and your team, how they make decisions, right? And sometimes that's a lot of politics, right? And I'm not talking about Democrats, Republicans. I'm talking about politics and how things get done inside of your organization. It's less about authority or who's in a position and more about who has the influence. And that person, could be the nice receptionist, right? It could have a great deal of influence on how things go within the organization, how things flow, as far as being on your boss's calendar. The other receptionist, that admin person, has a lot of power. Just getting you on the schedule or allowing you to know what is on the schedule. That's the other thing you want to know is what are the big events and what's your role, what's your team's role in it, what resources do you need, what's expected of you, for that period. And so that's what I talked to the young lady about is go and read the policies, right? And make sure she can get to the calendared events over that first 90 days. And then to, do a backwards plan and understand her role and making sure that she and her team are squared away. So we're talking about the first 90 days in a position and what onboarding looked like. And then, oh, by the way, what it looks like for you to show up as a professional, as someone who is a part of a team, and you want at the end of the first 30 days, because that's going to be critical, right? The very first time when you show up there, that's critical of the impression that you make. Were you late? Were you early? Were you rude? Were you dismissive to the people who you perceive don't have any power? Because those folks are talking to the other people, and those people, the people who you might see in positions of authority, guess what? Those are the people they're going to talk to. Like, hey, did you meet the new captain? Did you meet the new person? Yeah. Or, oh yes, and that's what you want. You want to you want people who are talking about you, and they're all going to notice you, whether they want to or not, right? You are the new person, so the new person to the team. So make sure that you are clear on how you make impressions and who actually has power, and whether they have authority or not, who has influence over um, the people you want, to get things from and done. So that's really the bottom line is when you show up to understand that you have um, that you're the new person, and these people have been operating at whatever speed before you got there. So when you start to make observations about things you want to fix or correct or change or adjust, I want you to shut your big old mouth. Don't say it out loud right then because you do not have all the information, right? And so just make your notes about the things that you want to address, and then you work your way through the right process to do that. And as you are making your way through those 90 days, make sure you put in time for you to have feedback, some kind of feedback mechanism in place with your boss, and understand what your boss's priorities are and where you fit in those priorities, and you want to be aligned. And then you want to know from the people that report directly to you, what's important to them, how long they've been there, family situations, what were they hired to do, and what are they actually doing, what skills do they have, and what types of resources they need from that. Don't make any promises. Don't make any threats. You hear me? Don't make any promises. Don't make any threats. All these individuals will attempt to influence you in some way. And right now, you don't even know the people and the experiences. You don't know who's married to who's a brother-in-law over there, where the cousin is, how these people may have various relationships that you are not aware. So shut your big old mouth, listen more than you talk, and then get yourself up to speed. Anything that relates to money, time, resources, do not absolutely make any shortcuts, take any shortcuts, right? If you are signing for equipment, which they do in the Army, right? then make sure you don't take any shortcuts. Make sure you understand what the policies and procedures are, and you sign for everything that you see, right? And so we do this thing where we trust, yet we verify, which means we see it for ourselves. And yeah, again, don't make any promises, don't make any threats with that first 90 days, because people will come to you with the intent to influence how to spend your time, how to spend the organization's money and their resources. And so until you have all the information, then make sure you just listen more than you speak, and be prepared to contribute when it's your time, right? And do not, under any circumstances, make any negative comments about anyone in the organization, the person that you are replacing. None of that, because it speaks to you and your character. It speaks to your integrity. It speaks to who you are, right? That's about you. So there you go. I just wanted to share that with you. So there are 4 traditional ways um, that we get information, um, that we learn how to do something, how to be something within our society, right? There's 4 ways: personal experience. There's schools. We learn at schools, and we also learn by upbringing, families, and then by being socialization. Those 4 ways is how we get information. And so, in this regard, as your first 90 days, personal experience, where have you worked before? What experience has that allowed you to grow from, right? What have you done? What have you done, right? Personal experience. And then schools. So you've had some type of professional learning environment, some corporate training. You've had some kind of formal curriculum as to learn something. You have that degree or certification. And then your upbringing within your own family, within your own neighborhood upbringing. It takes a village. So what have you noticed and observed within your own upbringing about this particular job, this particular organization? How is it shaping your view of it, right? Do you believe in unions, or you believe in no, we don't have any unions here, based on your own upbringing? So socialization, is how or what have your experience been with different types of people, whether you are used to, comfortable with working alongside tall people, short people, black people, white people, people that are Christians, or people who are Muslims. What have you been socialized to think of people? So you have to take all those things in consideration, because those are the 4 ways that we traditionally get information. And oh, by the way, that's why I say go back and make sure you read those policies and procedures, because your own beliefs and thoughts are secondary to the corporate thoughts and procedures, right? So do things the right way. Okay, so with that said, I wish you well on your new journey if you are taking one. But the biggest thing I want to convey to you is shut your big old mouth and listen more than you talk, right? You really are the new person, and so you don't know what you don't know. And when you encounter people, engage with people, you want to have relationships, positive relationships. You want to have a positive, reputation. And so these are your work friends, right? These are your work friends. So know the difference in how you are engaging, and just think about, after your first day, if someone was to write a social media post on their engagement with you, would you want that to be something that is uh, negative or positive? And if someone was to share their experience with their family that evening, at dinner, about the person they met, the new person just showed up. Oh my God, she was amazing. Or oh my God, what a butthole. So that's how you want to carry yourself. Your boss, she's as you're engaging with your boss, and she is talking to her boss. What is it she's going to say to her boss about you, the new person? first day on the job, right? And your onboarding experience. So you want to make sure that you understand how you fit roles and responsibilities. Um, but don't ever talk down or talk about anyone in that uh, environment. It's just uh, it's just gonna hurt you. Okay, so with that said, that's where we are. Okay, I see you, Melissa. You says positive energy, work friend boundaries. You definitely want to have that. So don't go sleep with all the people in your workplace. And oh, by the way, don't go drinking with all the people in your workplace. You have you got a different set of friends for that. I crack my old self up, right? But it is true. So just know that. So, okay. So again, my name is Angela Odom. This is the Better You Leadership Podcast. And I wanted to just talk to you about the first 90 days in your work. Um, and when your workplace, right? Get yourself prepared to succeed and to set your team up for success, to get results for your organization. And so, how do you do that? You do that with a plan. I would suggest that you work 30 days to 30 days to 30 days, right? And you put that into something that looks like a 90-day package. The things that you want to focus on, the priorities, and ensuring they're aligned with your boss's priorities, the organization's priorities. And listen to the things that your boss and your peers and your direct support tell you that is good, bad, indifferent. Listen, right? And be prepared to show up and show out. So there you go. All right, take care with starting your new position, whether you just got promoted internally or you are the new hire. You all take care. Have an amazing day.